Today, we talk about... you know what? We could get started without him. Join us. All right, Rob, welcome.
What's up, man?
I forget what episode we're on, but whatever. It's in the title. So, pleasure to have you. I know we've been doing this back and forth, trying to meet up outside of open mics.
Podcasts are a good way to just to hang out.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like we hang out with him like for a reason,
Right.
You know.
And then now we got this fuck.
Thanks for moving my pizza.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, what are you going to do? Like, get up and eat it at the table every time? This fucker's back as well. And so why don't you tell the folks a little bit of background about yourself? Like, how long you been doing comedy?
I've been doing comedy for about 5 years. I started in Virginia, and then I moved around a lot because I was in the military. I'm in the military, so
Right.
I Virginia, New Jersey. I did the New York thing for like 7 months in like 2015, and then I went to Texas, Arkansas, Connecticut.
All for the military.
All for the military.
Okay. But you're from Jersey?
I am from New Jersey.
From New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay.
What part of the military?
Air Force.
Oh, nice, cool. Are you a pilot or are you?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
really?
Yep.
Oh, that's so.
I joke that like I'm.
It was my dream job to always fly planes, but I didn't have the eyesight.
Oh.
I literally talked to an Air Force recruiter in high school, and they were like, "Oh, if you don't have perfect eyes."
That's
never
bullshit.
gonna happen.
That's. I mean, recruiters. So recruiters are trying to get enlisted guys. Usually, they don't really. That's what they mostly recruit because for officer, it's a different program. So they usually just like give you bullshit like that. But you could totally get either surgery or glasses even.
Yeah,
So
I was
do
going to say, don't you just correct your vision?
Yeah, but the I don't know. Yeah.
There is a level of bad eyesight that is like it is you can't correct to that, but mostly it's you can do it. Do you know what your vision is?
Negative 2.75.
Actually, I don't know what that is. So
Okay, well, that was you should host.
are we?
Wait, so did you do ROTC or whatever?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you went to the office. So you went to school.
Yes.
Did all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how you get to be.
So like I became I wanted to become a comedian, but then I became a pilot because I wanted to make my dad happy.
Right.
Sandra? You're not the same thing, right?
Sandra.
What do you mean?
Sorry.
No, Sandra.
No, I get it all the
How
time.
we go by.
Actually, Michael Rappaport shouted me out with the Sandra, so that was
Yeah.
fun.
So that's
Why?
your name now.
So we discussed this on a previous podcast, but I suddenly get a...
Sandra.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's always been his
No,
name.
no.
So me and him get a comment in one of the YouTube videos for a segment of the podcast
Yeah.
we filmed before, and it's from Michael Rappaport. Like, you two should watch this. So we click it, and it's legit Michael Rappaport in a selfie video being like, Sandra and Zach, I hear you guys doing stand-up comedy. Let me give you guys a little tip. Shave the fucking mustache.
Yeah, he just rips on us for like.
And he tells him to
30
stop doing
seconds.
a Scary Spice joke, which we were all on the same page on that one.
I like my Scary Spice joke.
But it turned out to be a
My
hoax.
audiences love it.
Yeah.
Push it to you.
Yeah, but it turned out to be a hoax. There's a couple friends of ours who hired him off this website I'd never heard of called Cameo.com, and like you can hire Michael Rappaport and a number of other celebrities to like give you like a
Have
personalized
you ever seen
video.
Cameo.com?
So it's a. Oh,
It's a
no.
website where you hire people that can.
So
like,
someone
roast
legitimately paid Michael Rappaport to do
Yeah,
that?
Yeah.
a friend of ours paid him
How much?
$100.
$100?
Oh,
That's it?
yeah.
it. Dude, you should see Cameo.
That's what Michael Rappaport's doing nowadays? Oh my
Dude,
God.
Cameo.com is so funny because it lists like all these celebrities and ex-athletes or current athletes, and you could like kind of wage like how they're doing. Because some guys like Brett Favre's $500 to do like a 1 minute video,
Yeah.
and then you get someone like I don't know, probably Scary Spice,
Dude, Caitlyn
and they
Jenner-
pay like $40. Yeah, Caitlyn
Caitlyn
Jenner's
Jenner's
like,
like $2,500.
but because
per video.
she'll make your brand popular. But yeah, it's just funny to go through the Cameo people. You're like, okay, how are people doing? Like I was looking at Jeff Driscoll do one for $25. I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan. The backup quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals will do it for $25. Yeah, just like, come up here and say, Heil Hitler.
Dude.
Yeah, so basically we got punked by our friends on April Fools, which was hilarious. We got the whole thing in real time.
Michael
on the
Rappaport
podcast.
is like the funniest dude ever, though.
Yeah.
He's funny.
You gotta listen to his What the Fuck Mark Maron podcast with Michael Rappaport. He talks about how like when he was like 16 or something, he like came to Madison Square Garden to like impress like this pop singer. Like he literally showed up like trying to like ask her out, and it's the funniest fucking story ever.
Funny dude.
Yeah, he's a
His
funny
roast
guy.
of us is funny too. Yeah, I always liked him. That's
Yeah.
why I was happy you even noticed us.
Yeah, he's a great.
Okay,
Yeah, I got
that's
geeked out because even though he was shitting on us, I was like, "Oh shit, we made it!" You know?
That's That's the level of success I want to do, is where people pay me $50 to
Right, that sounds like a great gig.
yeah,
It's
try
like-
these new shoes.
There's a minute. I mean, I've had people actually ask me on Instagram, like, "Hey, it's my friend's birthday. Can you shout him up?" I just do it for fun because I'm still a nobody. But it would be nice to get to a point where like people are paying you for that service. Just a 1 minute video, just like sitting in your bathtub, like, "Hey."
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, you were asking me about impressing your dad.
Yeah. Did you become a doctor to impress your dad?
No, actually. So my parents just wanted me to be successful, so not a comedian, obviously. But
that's still wanting to impress your dad. My dad's a pharmacist, so he actually would have preferred I went medical. But
Gotcha. Okay. No, my parents are both engineers, so they didn't care what I did as long as it wasn't something dumb, which to them is relative. You know,
Like comedy.
Right. Yeah. So to them that would be. I mean, they still think it's stupid that I'm doing comedy
yeah,
now.
absolutely.
You know, even after I finished everything.
I do too.
It's
Yeah. So I told my parents. Actually, funny enough, you bring that up. So just earlier last week, one of the GI groups in Manhattan, because they never have jobs available here, but finally one of these Manhattan offices reached out to one of my agents, was like, "Hey, we have an opening here. We really
You have
need
an
to fill."
agent as a doctor?
Yeah, yeah. So because I'm an independent contractor, so that's how I got this Iowa gig.
Crazy.
You know,
Can he
yeah.
get you at the Can he get you at Gotham as well?
Yeah, it's like
I'd like to do Beth Israel and Gotham.
Hey, give me a trailer with some M&Ms in between.
Ship me around, check out butts, make people laugh.
But I told my parents, like, yeah, I'm going to be interviewing with this GI group in Manhattan. Maybe I'll start doing, because I have 2 weeks that I'm in Iowa, 2 weeks that I'm here.
Yes.
So like maybe one of the 2 weeks I'll like sprinkle in some shifts here, just like keep busy. And like they freaked out. They're like, "Oh my God, this is great! Now you can stop this comedy thing and like just work." I don't think that's how it works. But anyway,
I think everybody said that.
I haven't told my parents yet, because I'm at the point where I could go to an airline if I wanted to.
Okay.
And I haven't told them yet that I probably won't. Just because it's like you were gone. You're
but
gone.
they know you do comedy.
They know I do comedy.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha,
they know I do comedy, but they think that I'm just like, because you have to. Civilian hours requires a different thing. You have to build up a ton of hours before you go to an airline.
Got to do the regional flights and all
Yeah,
that.
so I'm finally at the point where I could do that, but I don't want to, because you're gone like 20 nights a month.
Right.
You told me I like him. You didn't tell me I would want his life. Literally being a pilot has been like my dream.
Yeah,
I'm fan. Like a commercial airline pilot is
Yeah.
literally what I've always wanted to do my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, my entire life. I thought that'd be the best job in the world.
Have you ever flown a plane?
No.
I'm an instructor as well, so we should definitely go up.
Where in Long Island?
I do it in Connecticut. Yeah.
I would totally take you up with that,
Yeah,
dude.
come
I want to fly a plane so fuck.
Come
like,
up
I wanted it so
come
bad.
up and do. I do a show in New London. Comedy at the Watch, second Saturday of every month. And come up and do the show, and then you
Yeah,
can stay over and
I'm
we'll
serious.
fly the
I would
next day.
totally be down.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to fly a plane. I've always wanted to be a commercial airline
Celebrate.
pilot. I do understand like why it would be a tough job, especially if you want a family or something like that, because you're just gone so often, and like you're flying. So like
Interested in a candy cigarette? It's a little prop
it's
we
a
have
thing
on
we
the
do.
show here.
I'll take one.
Okay. I thought you guys were actually going to smoke on the pod. That's how dumb I am. I didn't know that. I'm like, what's Kings? I've never heard of that.
But I understand why, because yeah, I mean, you, it's probably tough with like jet lag all the time.
Oh,
It's just you're living a different life than everybody else.
Yeah,
being a commercial
I
airline
mean,
pilot.
I'm at the stage of Lucky. Lucky is like a cigarette brand.
Oh,
right?
yeah, Lucky Strike.
Like a lie, it's brought to you this episode is sponsored. Right? Yeah, so tell us
Todd,
more
you're
about
such
this.
a douche, by the way. This is a fucking. I thought you were supposed to be like a hipster. I thought you were living out in Bushwick, Brooklyn, at like obviously the nicest mansion you could find in Bushwick. But like you were doing that, and you were like hanging out with people who like made sweatpants for a living, like designer yoga pants.
I'm unemployed, so
And
and
You're living
we hang
in-
out.
but like why? Like so, why do you wear those glasses? But you live in an apartment where you will pop your ears on the way up.
Right.
Like
yeah.
why? So are you?
So I am an enigma.
Where are you at materialistic
Yeah. No
level?
one really understands what box to put me in because like I just don't fit any particular box, and I get that all the time. I actually use that in my stand-up sometimes. I'm like, guys, I've never been to Brooklyn a day in my life. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I know my look says one thing, my
But
clothes say another
he's
thing,
he-
my possessions say another thing, my job says another thing. It's like-
He likes this image that he's portraying because it's part of the bit,
So-
and it's part of the shoot thing, and it's part of the entire. You know what you're doing.
Why?
It's not like this accident.
Well, yeah. Well,
happens.
so can you tell us what you're doing? Is it a secret? Are you like
There's no
Christian
secret.
Bale in The Prestige? You're trying to,
You answer his question what he's doing right now. You asked him, why do you look like this? I thought you live in Brooklyn, because he likes that. He likes the juxtaposition
No,
of a different character.
I don't
That's
like
it.
looking like I belong in Brooklyn. I'm not saying that. It's just
You
I
use it
like
all
what
the
I
time in
like,
the act.
and I like that it's so different from what you would expect other parts of my personality to be. Like my music taste,
Part of the image.
part of my fashion taste, my friend choices.
Uh-huh.
The
You know,
hell's
it's
that mean?
all it's it's all over the place, man. There's no like box you can stick me in.
yes, but why do you care about giving people this like turn of what's it called when you hide a never mind. Like what like why
Like throwing people off.
like yeah why do you care about throwing people off with
So that's the thing. I don't think I care about throwing people off. It's just that's just what happens because this is just
sleight
who I
of
am.
hand, that's what I was
Sleight of hand.
saying,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I don't.
like I'm a hipster
Yeah.
but also a millionaire.
Right. Yeah, so I think that's the thing is like I'm not.
I love New York. I live in Iowa.
I'm not purposely trying to do sleight of hand or like throw people off. It's just
Okay.
this is who I
But
am.
I'm not saying trying to for other people. That's fine. I'm not saying that you're trying to impress anyone. But like, why? What are you trying to do? Why are you trying? Like, what are you trying to set up for? Like for
He's trying to
yourself?
escape his own reality. He hates being
Maybe.
a doctor.
Well, I
He
mean,
wants to do
maybe,
this
I
kind
don't
of
know.
stuff.
you're
Fantasy
you're
world.
creating your own reality, and that's totally fine. Like I'm, and
Yeah,
but like
nothing wrong
why,
with
like why this one? Like why? I'm not, and this is a great one. Well, why'd you? What led you to this?
Well, okay, so let me see if I can unpackage that. Well, for one thing,
Why are you the way that you are?
I mentioned this, I think, yesterday I mentioned this on the podcast I had with a couple of comedians. So growing up, he loves this part, by the way, get ready. I didn't grow up with a lot of money, okay? And it's hard for him to hear that, but it's true.
You don't know what not a lot of money
Yeah,
is.
well, he grew up with less money. How's that? You win that argument, right?
Yeah,
But
boom.
I
Oh, you said
remember...
you grew up with not a lot of money.
Not a lot
Yeah.
of money. And I remember my dad constantly going to garage sales and buying things. And I remember the fucking stench of garage sales, which is like the same every garage sale you go to. And I was like, I don't want this fucking smell in my nose ever again. What the fuck do I have to do to get out of this shit? And that's what motivated me to like do well, seek out something that pays well, seek out like a lifestyle where I could do this and not that, right? That has nothing to do with my fashion taste. That probably has more to do with like not giving a shit about fashion, getting bullied in school, Troy High, another thing he hates.
You're gonna go there. I swear to God.
He doesn't believe we went
I know
to the
exactly
same
what you're
high school.
talking about because I came from humble beginnings too, and
Yeah.
I would like this kind of lifestyle. I just still can't afford it. But yeah, it was always annoying.
But I mean-
but you're very official with things. Like you won't take the second rate. You won't go to Kmart to get something. You'll
Right,
be like,
right,
no,
right.
I'm going to go to.
Yeah, if I want
fucking
something,
Fifth Ave,
I will wait till I
what's
can
the big
afford
brown
to
bag?
get
What the hell's that called?
Bloomingdale's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You knew it quick.
I didn't
You still
shop
go to IKEA. some stuff.
I've heard like that like excuse from like people who are like, you know, like they like had to spend a like Pursuit of Happiness, like had to spend a day with their dad in the like the
coal
Port
mines.
Authority like
Yeah.
bathroom or something. There's no bathroom in Port Authority, but you know what I mean. Like, but you just
Oh,
had
the
a
movie.
You had
That's what
a
happened. I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, the movie. That
the
scene
movie,
where he's in-
yeah. So like that's what I thought you were gonna say, and then you're like, I had a bad smell in a garage. You know, like-
Yeah. The milk was overdone.
Well, I just didn't like the idea that people could do things in life because they had money that other people can't do because they don't have money. And I was just like, okay, if the money is what it takes to like do things, then let me go get some fucking
I don't
money.
like having a lot of
that's-
money because I don't think it brings you that much. I like dive bar. Like I like cheap stuff still. Where do you fall? On that?
What?
Where do you fall on that spectrum of like as far as like you want money so you can have something like this, or would you rather like be in Queens and like go to dive bars and just have like experiences? That's how I feel. That's how I
Would you
feel.
rather be rich or make excuses?
I don't see the point of having like a lot of money. I just don't see the point.
I mean, no. If you really want to get into it, I can have some deep debates about the morality of wealth, and I do think I think there's some.
That's a different thing. I'm not asking about the morality of wealth. I'm asking like what makes you like when
Well,
I see guys
well,
like Jeff Bezos.
not-
I'm like I wouldn't be happy if I had
Maybe-
$18 trillion. I'd be like I still don't give a shit. I'd still go to the same like hood bars and I'd try to hang out with the same type of people.
Yeah.
Like I don't think money just obviously
No,
makes
no.
everything better. Being comfortable, like being broke, sucks.
Yes.
But like being in that middle is I don't know. I think fine. So where do you fall on that spectrum? What motivates you?
I am really trying to become less materialistic. At the same time, obviously, I do like eating. Like I like being able to go out to restaurants, like nice restaurants, and eat there. I like being able to travel a lot, which I do. But at the same
Pilot. You be like, alright, fuck this.
Hello everyone, welcome to Atlanta. I hope everyone enjoyed this. I'm going to be at the Chuckle Hut tonight at 8 p.m. Please come on out.
Dude, that would be a great plug. Hope you all enjoyed that flight. You know what you'll enjoy more.
That landing crush, wait till you hear the closer.
It's like if you need your connecting flights, miss whatever we do that. If you need a connection for different comedy clubs offering a show,
But if you don't want to go to your connecting flight, I got something right in mind.
I do think that like having all that stuff is fine, but at the same time, we are all trying to use things. I use food or whatever it is in someone's life. It might be drugs or alcohol.
we all value different things, right?
But no. I'm saying we use things to that's like points in the game. All right, so having money is that's how we know that life, that's how we kind of validate what we're doing in life. It's money is a very easy point system that we can all play, and we're all in life. We don't really know what the whole point is, but it's here's one point that we all kind of agree on. It's we have this thing called money, and it lets you do stuff. So let's you can have a lot of points, and with that, there's status comes from it. It comes with a lot of opportunities that are all really good. But at the end of the day, I do think it is happiness is an internal thing that you need to And there is something great about being able to let everything go and to get to a place where you're I don't need even things alcohol or whatever. I think about I'm trying to quit drinking, but I can't do it because it's just I don't know what to do during
your free time.
I don't know what to do at 5 a.m. in the morning. No,
I'm with you. I've been thinking about coming back and drinking, but I'm just so fucking bored.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't have kids.
Yeah.
I would like to have a kid, but I'm not having a kid in this city. I'll tell you that much right now.
The kids here are weird. They're
dude, we had a kid on. Yeah, no, kids here are really weird. I literally would not want to put a kid through this. Growing up in New York.
Sure.
It just feels I want to have kids when I can get out of the city.
See, I'm the opposite. I actually want to raise a kid here. I want to die here. That's my whole dream. Maybe I just haven't been here long enough.
2 months and 2 months. It's a week.
He's never been here. I've been here.
How long have you been in the city?
Actually, I've only been here 3 months, 3 months, 3 or 4 months.
I've been here.
But I grew up in New Jersey, and I lived in Jersey.
Yeah.
I lived in Jersey City for a while too, which is
yeah. I was actually out in Grove Street yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I went to the Barcade.
Oh, yeah.
Grove Street's actually blowing up. It's really nice.
My friend lives 2 blocks away from the Barcade.
Dude, Grove Street's really cool.
Yep.
We went to a bunch of little bars, restaurants there. They closed off the street. Worst House.
Okay. Yeah.
So sausages, and then we went to Barcade. Before that, we went to a Dunkin' Donuts because you want to want coffee.
Is it the same Barcade franchise that they have sprinkled throughout here?
Yes.
Yeah, and they have one in Philly too.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm the same. So yeah, you're from this area where I just don't think this is a.
Growing up, I would come here, several times a year, with my, we'd come to the city just to see stuff or whatever.
It's fun, but at this point, I just turned 30. I've been here 9 years. I'm just kind of over it because I've been here every time. Albany. Okay.
But you also haven't had a ton of money here. You've been doing the whole struggling phase for your early few years.
My early few years, I've been the struggle, the roommates. Small apartments in Brooklyn, can't open the door.
Yeah. Whereas I waited, I was I don't want to go through that phase. I'm going to wait.
100%.
Come here
so that's why you're happy.
this,
No. I'm happy for you.
Well, no, time out though. Back to what he was saying. The happiness is internal. The happiness is internal because I'll spend nights here. I'm what the fuck am I doing with my life? I've had those kinds of nights. But so my analogy for the whole money thing.
He's got a doctor 60,000 subscribers. What am I doing? Try being unemployed.
Yeah, right.
It just wake you up and be what literally am I doing with my life?
Here, let me tell you about this. But no, I equate it. My analogy is
my dad farted in a garage. You
My
don't know what
dad
I've
smelled
been through, motherfucker.
I couldn't get those shoes. Yeah, you have a Foot Locker.
Yeah, we gotta show you that afterwards.
He hasn't seen it?
Not yet. Speaking about materialism, my analogy is an elevator. So I imagine that money is like a membership card, and your net worth or how much you spend or however you want to characterize it
you touch that?
is
Trying to quit.
I picture like your net worth and money as like a level of your membership card,
Yeah.
and that gives you a higher access to the towers, right? So some people like him are like, I don't need a lot of money. I don't want to be Jeff Bezos in the penthouse. I want to be the guy who can still go to the dive bars. Level 3 is good enough for me. I just want to make enough money for level 3. Swipe in, I'm out. I'm out of the elevator. Some people want to stay in the elevator, grind it out, make more, do more things, get to mid-tier view. Some people want to be fucking Jeff Bezos and want to get to the fucking top. And I feel like wherever you are in that spectrum, there's no good or evil to it. It's just who wants to be at what level.
Yeah.
He's like, no.
Yes. Well, there's two different there's two topics. One, like we can talk about the morality of wealth a little bit, just to hear your opinion. But in your analogy, you're right. Absolutely. As long, just like as it would like there's nothing wrong with sex or alcohol or anything like that. As long as you're not using it to like fill a hole in your soul.
Escapism.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're using for money because you don't know how to change as a person and connect with the people around you that are going to make you happy and show love to the people you actually care about,
right.
and just have experiences that are actually meaningful rather than superficial, then that is an unhealthy game to be playing.
Yeah.
And people think like, well, when I get more money, when I get to that next level, that's where those people will be, that's where those experiences will be. But they're in the elevator,
Yeah.
actually. It's the guy next to you who's riding the elevator,
right.
who you can have a conversation with. So there's that. So if you can do that, if you can make a lot of money and be a great person and really just like have a beautiful soul and talk to people and have a family and love that family and all that stuff, then I think that's great.
I feel like we've always kind of been like that too, because even like when I first moved down here and we had, your friends who were making a lot of money and they'd be like, let's go to the club, like to show off and all that crap. Me and you were always kind of like, this is lame as
this is
shit.
stupid.
Like, why are we doing this?
I don't want to make money to be able to afford this.
Or
Like,
just
I
to be able
don't-
to show somebody, to be like, look what I'm doing. It's like, nobody cares.
This was so dumb. Just like, yeah.
Yeah, I've always been
But yeah, I would love to have
very much
money.
like what you're saying. Like, yeah, I think it's a measure of man's soul. Like, who cares about... Yeah, that's why
But
I
like
just
he
don't care
said,
that much
I
about
would
money.
love to have the money to be able to afford to go eat whenever I want or travel
Right,
or whatever.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's
So
great.
I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah.
I think most people that come on here would probably agree too. Because the people that want it would be like, so how many viewers you got?
Yeah,
What you paying me?
But see, even that component that's like a whole nother level of currency. It's like, oh, how many viewers do you have? How much
Oh, I
attention
know.
span are you
Okay,
holding?
let's
and
move
all
on.
that
So,
stuff.
your morality thing I wanted to hear.
Well,
I'm just curious because you've mentioned it twice.
so I'll like fly some charter stuff every once in a while, and we'll fly people just out to the Hamptons or to Martha's Vineyard or whatever, and it's like the flight costs like $2,000 to $5,000
Right.
for like a 30-minute flight, and like we'll fly someone out from JFK to like the Hamptons, and it's like it would have been a 2-hour drive, and you spent like $5,000 to like do something that there's like a family in Africa that won't make that in a year,
Right.
and you did it to save an hour and 15 minutes, and like to me there's something like, I'm not saying that person is a bad person, but I'm just saying there's something out of balance in the world where that kind of stuff is happening.
So is your morality more on the income inequality or on like the environmentalism of the entire, like you could have drove instead of had a plane? It's more on the income inequality.
I'm thinking of more the income, and again, I'm not saying that person should just give the money. I'm just saying there's something wrong where we spend that kind of money to when there's people that when we see, it's like it's again like you're in that elevator and you're trying so hard to get to the top, and this person next to you is starving or whatever, and it's like you could just help them, and that would be more beneficial than you getting to the party up there when it's really the same as the party up here. They just have a nicer bow tie or whatever
Right.
they wear. I don't know. It's kind of a complicated thing, and people don't like to like. Because if you're in the I think Gerard Carmichael has a great joke. It's like, I want to get so rich that I'm a Republican, and it's like, of course, like when you get like, I'm not donating all my money to charities, or
Right.
I'm not like giving all my time to, and it's like I think like, why don't I do that? Because that's what I kind of believe in, but I don't do it.
Right.
So I'm not like any.
Yeah, because I'm looking at that guy as an example, and I'm thinking he probably just has so much that to him that hour is worth so much more than that fucking $5,000. Like,
Oh,
to
for
him,
sure.
$5,000 is like, yeah.
I don't even want to tell you like some of the people we because I don't know, but like
Well, you don't have to give names.
they're like they're not like
What's his nightly routine?
They're not.
Where does he live?
No, they're not even like
Lock his door.
They're not famous people. These are just like absurdly
They usually
rich,
aren't, yeah.
like billionaires who like could have me killed, without, and they would never get back to them.
Right,
you know
right.
what I'm saying? Like these guys are so fucking rich, and it's just crazy to me. I mean, it's like and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely. I mean it's
You've worked with such people.
yes, I have.
Yeah.
I met Jared Kushner. No, I mean, but the entire idea of income
You
inequality.
mean the Lord Jesus Christ, Jared Kushner?
He's Jewish, so.
He's Jewish, oh, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what the hell they.
So is Jesus, actually.
Yeah. They're like, he's finally here.
What if Jared could?
Our Messiah. No, I think, but it's always going to be like that. Like it's a tale all the time. Because I mean, if you compare ourselves to like someone in South Sudan, someone's going to come up and be like, South Sudan's actually beautiful. I'm like, we get it. You have elephants. But it's a tale all the time. It's like, yeah, okay, like here we have running water. South Sudan, they don't. The fuck am I supposed to feel bad about?
I mean, but then you can always think of good examples like Bill Gates, the Bill Gates Foundation, blah, blah,
okay,
blah.
well, let's not get into that because a lot of those are just tax havens.
Sure.
Most of them.
Still.
And even if you can't throw money at a country and expect it to get better too, because money just corrupts. So the leaders just take. I have a lot of opinions about it, but no, we need more people thinking like him. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't think that way.
Yeah. Well,
because I'm just like, fuck you.
That's how you lose your humanity.
Get mine. But that's, I think more humanity is more like him, where it is like thinking, kind of being like, yeah, I shouldn't have this.
Yeah.
And we need more people thinking like that, more people getting rich to think like that, because that's the only way that's going to help. Nothing else is going to help. Having a couple rich people in the world, a couple billionaires be like, oh, take the money and throwing it at warlords in Africa, that's like help.
Yeah, it's not a simple solution.
It's not a simple solution, but as long as people are empathetic and realize what they have, I think that's the only way.
It's just hard to do because you recognize it because you're at this level still. But if you were to get to such a level,
He'd still recognize it.
you may fail to.
What are you talking about?
So, for example,
There's a lot. You just
I still
talked
ride-
about Bill Gates and Melinda.
I still
Gates
ride the
Foundation.
subway. I still ride the subway. If
Oh,
I get
there we
to if I get to a certain income level, there could be a
Thank you for
day.
your service. I appreciate that. Thank you for your sacrifice.
There could be a day someday where I stop taking that subway because I make enough money, kind of like that $5,000 jet ride, where it's like, dude, I
used
have
to
enough
take the
money to
cab-
afford Uber.
When I
everywhere,
worked downtown, I used to take the cab all the time because I would just like get up, get out of work, get out of bed.
This is the douchiest podcast ever.
No, I swear to God, I used to jump in a cab from Queens, Long Island City, all the way to Financial District, just because like I'd see the people, I'd hear the train. It's like a Monday. I'm just pissed off. I gotta go to work, and I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Take $25. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Like I'm not getting on that goddamn animal ride.
See, that's my point. I don't see them as animals.
Okay, that was a loaded. Dude, I love the subway. I'm the tallest guy.
It's
in
not.
Queens.
I'm like.
But this is perfectly my point. It's like you start to see
You don't
as this
need to.
thing,
It's a duality. You don't need to like defend. Your desire to like want nice things. We don't, of course, and you can. The subway can be disgusting. It's not like you don't have, it's not wrong to say that.
It was the worst part of my day.
I'm not even saying give all your money to anyone. I'm just saying like. You just have. It just there's something.
You have to be
there's something,
empathetic.
There's something wrong with the world. That's just how it is.
Hey, I'm with you.
If
There
we
is
cared about
total excess to some degree.
But it's getting better because people are thinking like this, I think. And I think especially because like education and like the internet and people seeing like how other people have been living and stuff, I think people are getting more empathetic in general.
Yeah.
To like the plight of others, like that kind of stuff. It's not like let them eat cake.
Like if
that literally happened, the French Revolution. She's like, let them eat cake, Maria Antoinette, and they cut her head off.
I think he
Because,
disagrees with you. No, okay.
What?
No, I was going to say you disagree with him, but I'm
No.
just busting his balls.
Would disagree with Maria.
No, you with him.
Maria
Actually, it's a
Antoinette.
misquote.
She's been dead for years, man. Let her stay dead. Don't talk ill of the dead.
Supposedly that is actually.
It is a misnomer.
The misnomer.
It is a misnomer, but the quote stands, but it is a misnomer because she meant like cake didn't mean like it meant like, oh, just let him eat bread, basically. Like, don't we have enough bread? She was actually concerned, but it's been misquoted.
But it comes out wrong.
It comes out wrong. Well, because cake, the direct translation, cake meant like this bread that they had. She's like, oh, just give it to them. She like actually did care. But the
Both
let them eat
ways
cake
sound
thing comes
kinda
out.
douchey, to be
Oh
honest
well,
with you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason the French Revolution happened.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us in History in the Penthouse.
Hey, can you link Wikipedia? Jamie, look that up.
Sorry, man. We go off on tangents here. Bro.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I could be like, so I could go to an airline if I wanted to, and after a couple of years, you're making like, $300,000 if you're doing a major airline. Like,
Really? Because I heard the
Wow.
opposite. Any pilot I meet, they're like, yeah,
Regional, probably.
You start off regional. You start off making about like $10 an hour. That's literally like what it comes down to. Like that's literally how bad it is. But you do a couple of years there, you move up, you start getting paid a little bit better. Once you get to the majors, the guy the captain flying to London and back to New York
okay.
City, that guy's getting $300,000 a year.
Gotcha.
But the right seat going from JFK to Kentucky, that guy's getting $10.
Okay.
How cool is it? Oh God, yeah, I always want to fly. How cool is it when you bust through the clouds? Like that? Do you still get a rush?
Oh yeah,
because you've done it
I
like
count
just
every
like
time.
I would. Like,
Yeah.
I get a rush as a passenger whenever we bust through those clouds. It's like, oh yeah, here we fucking are.
Now, how many of those flights are those London to New York guys doing?
That's the other thing too. So right now, like regionals actually are paying more than they have been because there's like a pilot shortage. But
that.
there's like so right now, what I was looking at, like starting out, they're giving $30 an hour.
Okay.
Which doesn't sound too bad, but that's only flight hour time you're in the air.
Gotcha.
Okay, it's not even taxi. That's not like all the time, like getting to the airport, getting ready, getting your flight plane, getting on the plane,
Pre-check
starting it up.
and all
Yep.
that stuff.
So you'll get.
So that's unpaid labor, basically?
Yep.
Okay.
That's
So
really shitty.
$30 an hour, and then it's like if you're getting on and you're flying from JFK to Tokyo, you're getting 14 hours of pay right there, right? But if you're going to Kentucky, it's like an hour and 15-minute flight. So you get paid an hour and 15 minutes, then you get off the plane, you wait, you get to walk to your next gate, you get on, you get that stuff, you get on that plane, you fly then from there from Kentucky to like Ohio or something. It's like another only like a 40-minute flight or less or whatever, and you'll do that a bunch of times. Maybe you'll then fly to Texas, whatever. And
And you
then
got people's lives on there.
so yeah, so
like the
so
stress.
since the time you woke up to the time you get back into a hotel that you have to sleep in, you've worked 12 hours and you've only gotten paid for 4.
Yep.
So it's like
Yeah, because
really,
the pre-check time is probably the same amount per flight, so yeah, that sucks.
So, but then then you move up to the left seat, you become a captain, a regional, then you go up to a major airline, you start getting paid better, then you start getting better routes and more seniority. But
Nice. All right, cool.
That's insane, though.
Yeah.
Do you like the movie Airplane?
yeah, oh yeah,
Okay, good.
I love it. Something wrong with the autopilot.
Just blow the thing up.
Yeah, that movie's underrated funny.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I
What
watched
does the chick say when she's like, I only date black guys? The younger chick.
Oh yeah. I like my coffee like I like my wine. Yeah.
I think it was an older woman, wasn't it?
No,
Oh, I
that's
thought
the
it was
little
like a
kid.
toddler.
Yeah. It's like cream and sugar. He's like, no, I like my coffee black, like my men. And the dude's like, no, the older woman was the one that turned to the two dudes like, I speak
She
jive.
said jive. Yeah.
It's such a shame that movie.
Dude, that movie's
underrated.
so good.
Oh,
Wow.
I thought you were referring to Up in the Air, the movie Up in the Air, where George Clooney's like doing
Also like that
logging
movie.
like thousands of fucking hours.
I haven't seen that
Yeah.
one.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you'd like it.
What's the one with Snoop Dogg?
Soul Plane?
Plane.
It's an
I
underrated
actually
movie
thought
too.
Soul Plane was really funny.
Yeah, that was good. It was good. I actually remember enjoying that movie.
Yeah, well, it's like it's like any don't be a menace while drinking your juice in South Central or whatever.
I don't
That
remember
movie, don't be a menace while. Okay,
I haven't seen it either.
it's
Yeah,
making
I
fun
don't
of
know how
boys
many
in the
flight
hood, menace
movies
to
you end up
society.
watching, but
It's like Soul Plane.
okay. All right. Well, if he doesn't know, it must not mean shit. As far as flight movies go, I think.
Yeah, if the military doesn't know about it.
Actually, do the pilots shit on piloty related TV show and movies the same way like doctors shit on like medical shows,
Sure. Yeah.
like
There's-
Sully and like all
Have you
those other
seen
movies.
Flight?
yeah. Flight is
One of my favorite movies.
is a great movie. It is like they'll make fun of the plane scene where he like turns it upside
Yeah,
down.
it goes upside down and lands on the
That's
church.
not
Is
gonna
that the Denzel Washington one?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was really good. Sully was pretty accurate. That was a really accurate movie. I do a joke about how like Sully's a hero because he had to make a choice between landing in New Jersey or just putting it down in the river,
Yeah, I remember that.
and he makes the right call.
I remember that one.
They're like, you want to land in Hoboken? He's like, no, fuck this. I'm
The-
not gonna do that to these passengers.
yeah.
That is a funny joke.
But there's not as many flight and stuff. Do you you know what? So do a lot of people ask you about doctor stuff on the podcast? Because that's like a very unique thing.
Not really. And actually, I heard it's not because a friend of mine who I don't know if you know Jordan. You weren't here for his either. I think you'd like him too. He's
About everybody.
jacked guy, bodybuilder, personal trainer type.
What's his
Jordan Rosengarten.
Is he bigger than Jimmy?
He might be actually. Actually, Jimmy was at the open mic yesterday. He was hilarious.
Oh.
But Jordan was here for an episode, and he wants to start a podcast with me that's medically GI specific related.
Yeah.
And what he was telling me yesterday is, dude, I don't think you realize how many comedic medical podcasts there are. I was like, wait, really? Like, I had no idea.
Sounds like he's trying to bump me out.
What? Is it really?
Yeah, apparently. So I don't know, but I do get a lot of questions from comics who are like, "Hey, I've got constipation."
Because
Like,
they don't have insurance. They need. You're gonna
Sure,
be like
sure.
the
yeah, no,
check
you're
this
right.
out for
You'd
me?
be like, yeah, I'll check it out. You're gonna book me on your show.
Not a bad idea.
Absolutely
Not a
do
bad
that.
idea.
One thing I think is cool about being like a doctor and GI thing, especially doing what you do. Do you have a feeling that there's no shame in the body? Like, do you have a sense of like no shame about body that like a lot of people have? You know, like
Yeah, I think that's one of my strengths as a doctor, because like people come in with varying levels of comfort talking to me.
Yes.
But I put them at ease right away because I'm like, guys, look at me. I'm a piece of shit. Just talk to me. Like it's fine. Like, you know. So like people are afraid.
That's actually not what I want to hear.
Well, I don't come out and just
Look
say
how small my
that.
dick is. Come on, you gotta be ashamed.
But like so one of my techniques is I'll ask the questions for them because I've been.
Please don't show my child your dick.
He's like, nope, turn around.
It's actually one of my strategies is because I've been doing
Show
this.
him your butthole first.
I'll show you yours if you show me mine. Yeah. No, it's to put them at ease.
Look at this.
That's like a staring contest. Butthole to butthole.
Oh wow, he does have a tiny butthole. Yeah. No, I've been doing it for so long. I already know what questions are coming, or I already know. And if I don't, the nurse just pre-talk to them before they come to me. So like they're here for this.
Like he's a little weird.
Yeah.
Get
Just
ready.
so you know, he may show you his butthole. You know. No. But
He talks from his butt. It's cancer.
he's a nice Ventura
It looks
fan.
like he's going to put you in an electric butthole chair in Brooklyn.
Just to warn you.
He's like a mad scientist.
Well, I also comb my hair a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But
like now.
I anticipate. Yeah, exactly. Woo, what's up, guys? Yeah. I anticipate the questions that are coming typically because there's only so many things I handle on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So I already know in my head, almost like a script, what I'm going to be talking about. So if I sense that they're uncomfortable, I'll talk for them, or I'll ask the questions for them, like. So, are you here for your diarrhea? Like, I'll just come out and say it.
Yeah.
And I say it so matter of fact and, like, so stoic. I don't be like, hey, so your shit's up. Like, I'm not doing that, you know? So
That would be all the training. So, all right, well, I'm not gonna but yeah, so that would
yeah,
be,
I put them at ease, and then I just treat everything like a matter of fact conversation, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, I guess we can talk about this." And then I'll be like, "All right, so how many shits are you taking a day? Like, is there any blood in it? Is there any black in it?" It's like I'm going through almost like a checklist of yes/no questions to make it as easy as possible for them to talk.
Wait,
to me.
what happens if there's black in it?
So black stool is a clue for higher up GI bleeding. So if you bleed, let's say you have a bleeding ulcer in your stomach, it's red blood. But give it enough time to digest and get processed by the
gets shit
bacteria.
marinated.
By the time, so by the time it comes out the other end, it's black. So when we hear black stool, it's like, oh, this guy's got maybe a bleeding ulcer or small bowel bleed or something like
Yeah.
that. So we ask about black stool, bloody stool, and that kind of gives us a clue. Where's the location? Do you have to do a colonoscopy, upper endoscopy, both, capsule, whatever. So yeah.
I would love to be a urologist. Some guy walks in and he's like, yeah, I can't get it up. I'm like, what are you, gay? They're like, no, it's fine. Everything's working.
Actually, I wonder if that.
Another success.
Well, actually, no. I'm going to poke a hole in that. What if they're like, well, if I was gay, I'd be getting an erection much more often, right?
Why?
Gay people get erections.
Yes, I know, but
Oh
I
my
mean, if
God.
I can't get it up with like a woman, is what he's saying.
Oh,
He
okay.
has ED.
So
he'd be
this-
like, well, why can't I get it up? And I'd be like,
So just
I don't
to
know,
fill
maybe
you
you're
in,
gay.
so he's
Fucking
been
his head.
he's been doing stand up like a few times now,
Well,
and
like, I don't know.
way
10?
less than him and me. Right?
I thought okay. So I thought you've been doing it longer. That's awesome.
Oh, no, like, I've done like 10
Yeah,
sets.
he's naturally funny, but like stand up, it doesn't translate yet because A, he's still new. B, he'll leave out certain things in the joke
Yeah.
to make it funny. So he's like, well, dude, of course he's straight, but I'm like, dude, someone in the audience who happens to be
They're like,
gay
"What did you
probably,
say?"
would probably be like, hey, what?
That
I
happened to me
don't-
the other time. Yeah, but, I've done sets where I'm like, oh, wait, I forgot that line.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
People are
crucial,
looking at it,
right?
they're like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm
"Wait,
sure
what
you've
does he
learned this,
say?"
right? It's
So,
like if you
I
don't
transitioned-
deliver a certain part of the joke, it just the whole.
But I've
thing's
transitioned
fucked.
my style because I don't like the joke. I don't really like doing the joke stuff. I've just become. I just basically riff. Like I'll pick on the previous comics or something, or find someone in the crowd, or I'll say like a little joke, someone laughs, and I pick on them.
Okay.
But
It's more just,
it's more my. I'm just more comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
But I can't go up there and just like
That's why,
memorize a set.
that's why I don't get why you flip out when you forget your notebook. It's like, dude, don't use the fucking notebook.
No, but I literally don't know anything if I don't have my notebook because I get up there and I'm like, what do I normally say?
Just look
I
at the
just
crowd.
don't know.
Pick out someone that looks goofy and just
Yeah,
start
but you
picking
need
on them.
no, but you need like a couple feeders.
But you'll get that with time. I don't know. I don't know if you have thoughts on this, but
I mean, no.
you have a strong riff game.
Do it. It's absolutely a skill. So, with riffing, one thing that I've learned is don't necessarily try to be funny. You don't have to go and like pick on the weirdest guy and then just start making fun of his hat. If something comes to you, go for
He
it.
ripped into my outfit, the clown suit. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
He does that shit on purpose. He's like, notice me. It's like, I was like, are you gonna wear clown shoes like a red fucking dude? They'd be like, hey, I'm a doctor. I'm like, we all saw Patch Adams.
Nobody's gonna get fucking crazier. How many like? I want to go back to like who you are. but real quick on comedy stuff. Yeah. So with riffing and doing crowd work, I recommend don't try to be funny. Just try to like really listen. Listening is also really important. Listening
Yep.
and just have fun. Really try to just like have a quick. There's also different types. Like if you're trying to do a tighter set, you don't want to reach out too far into the audience and get like them to talk. You want them just to say yes or no or whatever, stuff like that. But if you are opening a show and you want to like try to bring everyone in, you could talk to them like, hey, what do you do? And if they say, oh, I'm a doctor, you don't have to be, well, my shit sucks. You don't have to. You don't have to do that. You'd be like, oh, cool, a doctor. Like that's awesome. Like I want to be a doctor, but then I just never did it. And like what are you doing around it? Like so, just talk and like don't put so much pressure on yourself to be funny with every riff.
So a couple of my opening bits are actually like polling the audience for yes no questions.
Yeah.
Because to get them like engaged,
Yes,
involved.
yeah.
Like one I have, and we've talked about this. It's not that funny, but it cracks me up. But it's like I go to the audience, I'm like, okay, can anybody here spell Skechers? And then people start to spell it.
Yeah.
And then we've talked about this in our podcast. But then if they can spell it, because everybody's like trying to spell it, I'm like, oh, I thought there was a T in there. And like anybody spells it successfully, I'm like, okay, you couldn't afford Nikes in high school. yeah. And it's like automatically though, people are like, oh, okay, I'm involved.
That's good.
I have another one like
Yeah.
raise your hand if you'd rather lose 4 inches of your height or your dick. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So like I try to do like
yeah.
like it's like in your presentation
it's
or
a
something.
connection.
You're trying to
You
get the
connect with
audience
the audience,
involved.
yeah, absolutely.
It's the same thing because I'm in sales. I was in sales. It's the same thing as like a presentation.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
how I view it, at least.
You'll get better. Just keep at it.
I can't. I've already peaked. I peaked like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
That one set.
so-
And your fourth set.
Yeah, I actually had a couple good starting sets, and my latest sets I've been like, alright.
He got
so
kicked
bored.
off his very first set.
I got kicked off my very first set. Oh god. You're misogynistic.
That is
Are we gonna say that every podcast?
yeah,
Sorry.
dude. Everyone's got another. Sorry, what were you saying?
it is a good insight though. Like whenever you're doing if you're ever writing with another person or like running jokes off another comic, don't ask, is this funny? If you believe it's funny, it is, okay? But don't ask, is this funny? Ask, does this make sense? Am I communicating this clearly?
Yeah, that's
and
important.
so it's like, okay, so you forgot a part about you're thinking something, but he's like, I didn't know this person had, I forgot what you said, GI, whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember it either.
Yeah, that's how bad it was.
That's
but,
my notebook.
yeah.
No, I agree because it's got to be like a communicative process, like you said, like because especially like we've talked about this a bunch, like ad nauseum,
Ad nauseum.
ad nauseum. But like how if you go to open mics, comedians, if they get any kind of reaction, like an open mic where it's other comedians just kind of sitting there working on their stuff like a workshop.
Yeah.
If you get a single laugh, you go to like a bar or like a crowd of non-comics, they'll love it.
Yeah.
Like they'll just be like, oh, this is hilarious. I'm not at work.
Also, like
laughing.
hacking material won't work there.
Yeah.
And also like the only kind of response you have, it has to be super present. You have to be making fun of like the mic or the situation we're all in, kind of thing. Like they're not. I'll like I don't laugh anymore at open mics, but I'll.
It's like ha.
I try to be supportive, and I will give someone a laugh if I think they're like if that's like that's a good bit.
But that's what it's for.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
No, but yeah, that's why open mics are very different than like if you're doing like a set or like at a
yeah.
bar or something like that. But yeah, open mics, because I've only been doing this for a couple months, if that. And yeah, that's just the first thing that surprised me about doing it differently at bars versus like open mics. Because open mics comedians don't really, you hear it so much. Like everybody's kind of funny there, so you're just kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
if something's funny, you're like, oh, huh.
Yeah.
Like, and then you're like, okay, that'll work. Like if I do that at a wire set, like, okay,
but that's
work
why
on
you do
that,
it.
That's
It's a
fun.
workshop.
No, I'm saying no. It's just interesting. The juxtaposition is a bit interesting, but yeah, it just.
Loves that word.
I didn't think that, and we've talked about this before too. I didn't think the comedy scene would be as supportive in New York as it is.
It's actually, I feel like it's gotten better since when I was last here, like 3 years ago. It's just, I think people are like realizing that we're all in this together, and it's like, and it still sucks, by the way. Still is like the worst place ever. But it's gotten a little bit better. LA is way better about that. Because I mean, like,
Better in what terms? With the
Open
community,
mics.
or with
a
the,
better, more supportive community, and some. A lot of it comes from this place of like New York comedy supposed to be this tough thing, it's like fuck everyone else, like it's me, like you got to get to the top, whatever. But what you realize is like when you do open mics in another city, like if you do it in like Des Moines, Iowa, those guys see each other like twice a week at the 2 mics that they have in town,
Exactly.
and they all hang out. They all watch the whole show. They all hang out after, and it's like they're one of the highlights of their week. It's like they get to go,
seriously.
they get to do their set, they get to talk about it. It's all awful, but it's just as awful as here. It's actually even worse, but it doesn't matter because it's like, hey, we're just gonna like have fun with it and figure it out.
Yep.
Here we're trying so hard and we put so much pressure on it that it's no longer fun. But we also take out like the community aspect of it. It's like if you're not gonna go, like, and if we're not gonna hang out with each other at these mics, we're like, it's gonna be awful. Like we need to like, you know, be like, we need to be cool with people. But I also get it too. It's like there's a million new comics every other day, so you can't just like make friends with everyone. So like I get both sides of it.
that's why I really like this podcast, honestly.
Yeah.
Just get people off the stage. It is cool and you have a following, so it is actually really fun.
Yeah.
Hear other people's minds. But do you agree with him that about the culture, like in where
Iowa.
the fuck are you from? Arkansas.
I'm not from there. I just work there.
Kansas City, Arkansas.
But no, it's well, he's right. They are just as miserable. Let's be real. All comics are suicidal, you know. But
one step from the edge, and I'm thinking.
but
6 feet.
But yeah, I met
So far down.
I met a comic who was running through there from well, he started in Indiana. And what he was telling me, which I found interesting, he goes, "Yeah, man. When I started out, we only had two open mics a week, and you had to travel like so far between the 2 big cities there to get to them. But that made me a better comic because I knew, I'm coming with my fucking shit for those 2 sets. Like, there's no. So what do I want to? What else do I want to talk
no
about?
9
You know,
mics.
it's like, yeah.
Well, that's why New York is good because like literally, if you have a new joke idea, you better like rehearse. Like I rehearse, I'll still like rehearse it to myself several times because I know if I go up there and I'm stumbling through a joke idea, it's gonna get 0 if I don't stumble through it, but it's definitely gonna get 0 if I do.
Yeah.
So
I kind of get off when nobody laughs.
That's fine.
No,
some people,
it makes me laugh. I'm like,
but some people dig into
I
it.
kind of like
get off a lot.
it. Yeah, I get off a lot. No, but we already talked about this. I'm a contrarian. So
But you can make
if
that
I
part
say
of your
something,
shtick.
people aren't funny.
Well,
Or
no, you-
people are like, "This isn't funny." I'm like, I thought it was funny.
But there are some comedians that really dig into that and they're like, I'm going to be the unfunniest person for 5 whole fucking minutes. And they will get a laugh out of that just from committing
Yeah,
to
just
that.
being
You know
awkward.
what I mean? Yeah.
Also,
So
it's
there's a
funny
role
too
for
that you talked about how there's more open mics. Did you guys see the new Joker trailer?
Not yet.
Joker, like the Batman joke.
Yeah, they're remaking it. It's
With Joaquin
Phoenix.
Oh yeah, I love him as an actor.
It's the trailer looks really, really interesting. It's set in 1970s New York, but it's funny because this is how big stand-up is. He's literally at one point like writing jokes down in a notebook, and then he's a stand-up comic.
Oh shit.
Oh,
yeah,
in the movie?
yeah, in the movie, he's a stand-up comic.
He
That's
like
why I
runs into like
became-
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah, I have a bit about Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I went over well one time. I haven't done it anymore.
The
I was
bit
like, well, the bit's stupid. I was like, so we're all comics here. Like, is anybody else sick of people asking them if they see Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? Because I swear, anytime anybody says it,
Yeah, I think you need more to that joke. but-
well, that's why I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But literally, anytime I
And-
tell anybody, I'm like, oh, I'm trying to stand up, they're like, oh, have you seen Marvelous Mrs. Maisel?
Yeah, I like Crashing better personally, but
Ugh.
have you seen that show? Crashing?
Yeah.
I prefer it. It's nicer. I relate to the character
I've
a
watched
lot.
like 2 episodes of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. It was
No,
okay.
Marvelous Maisel is a whole different category, I would say. But Crashing on HBO, I think you would like better.
I'm not gonna watch it.
He won't like it. So he's quite the contrarian. If anything is dope, he's like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah.
No, he's just
I'm
not.
always ahead of the schedule.
Have you seen? I High Maintenance on HBO.
Yeah, yeah.
I absolutely love that show. I think that is. I didn't even know about it. And I don't know a lot of people that watch it, but it is so good.
It disappeared for a long time, but when I first heard about it was when it actually premiered, and I remember watching every episode, but then it fell off, and I just haven't kept up. I don't
Is
even
it
know
new?
if it's back yet. No, this is like a couple years back.
Did you?
Season 1.
Okay, you didn't see season 2.
No.
Season 2, like season.
Wait, how long ago was season 2? Is that the new season?
I have no idea. I just know there's 3 seasons.
Then I've watched the first 2.
Okay.
Do you know which show this is?
No. What is it about?
It's a weed dealer who just
I'm gonna
rides.
use that one.
Yeah, go for it. Weed dealer who rides around Manhattan and
Save
Brooklyn.
it for the guests.
Yeah. He runs around Queens, Manhattan, and Brooklyn, and just like deals weed and just like makes friends and conflict. And
I legally don't have to pay attention to my guests.
Yeah, did you hear about this
so bad.
Red Lobster open mic?
No way.
Dude, it's in Harlem. I can't wait to
Yeah,
go.
I don't know.
Hell yeah, cheddar biscuits. Fuck yeah.
Dude, just sitting up there like, how's everybody enjoying the biscuits?
Dude, by the way, I grabbed a Polar
yeah,
instead
go
of
for
a LaCroix because I know my place.
Dude, it's so
He gets
funny.
out of the third.
I
floor.
grabbed this from the Queen section of your Facebook.
It's so funny when people shit on me for the things I skip on, like this table, or like, dude, you don't have Spotify Premium? What the fuck?
Or like try to get him to buy you a slice of pizza when you don't make cash on you. You're like, dude, I'll Venmo you.
Well, my
Speaking of which, you didn't want to finish that? But-
I only said it one slice.
Oh.
I just bought 2 because it's $2.75 for the soda.
Oh, gotcha.
If you just get 1 slice, it's $2.
No, I didn't know.
75 cents.
Yeah, whatever. Healthier. Sorry, you were saying.
That's why I live in Queens.
what what were we talking about? Did you tell him about High Maintenance?
Yeah, so it's a little delivery guy who just delivers weed. I think I have seen it.
The show, at least in season 1 mostly, the show is like just vignettes. Like they just take these like small like scene, they show you like the inside of a life of one character or a couple characters, and they show this like story or like experience that this character's having. It's really interesting. They do a really good job of making you feel a connection with the character right away. Very real, very honest show. Then the weed guy is like the only character that exists throughout the series, and he's just opening the door. He's not even a main character. Especially in the second season, he actually does become a main character.
I have seen it.
Yeah,
it
you've
came
seen
out like a while ago.
Yes.
Yes. I've seen like a couple episodes. Joe needs to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like yep, I've seen it.
Yeah.
That was a cool like
It's a really
setup.
cool, and actually in the second season, I think it even gets even better. It's so good. There's
That must come out in like 2011.
They took a long break for some reason. I don't know.
Sorry,
Really?
keep going. That's like
the guy who there's like one episode though, which is so fucking funny. Like there's like this coder. He's like this Indian dude. He's like a coder in a coffee shop like in Brooklyn or somewhere in New York. And he's like listening to like NPR as he codes or whatever, and then you can see like it skips through like several months, and you can see him like becoming more like of a hipster. Like he gets like a nice like a colorful shirt and like lets his mustache out or whatever, and just like and then he like tries to talk to people, but there's like all these other like to communicate because he's like, oh, you need a NPR. It's like you gotta communicate and whatever, and he's like, hey, what's up? And they're just like on their phones or whatever. But it's so funny. So I imagine you like just like injecting NPR into you're like.
well, you're
Actually-
not touching your cigarette.
He did not succumb to peer pressure.
Does anyone want it?
You touch
You
it.
want a Lucy?
Yeah, I actually don't like NPR. Not that I hate it, I just don't.
Nah, whatever.
It's gotten worse.
Yeah.
It used to be good.
Oh, really? I don't know.
I used to love it.
My
in
parents
high
used to
school,
listen
so-
to it all the time.
Yeah,
I
in high
never-
school, like morning edition.
Yeah,
I
my
used to like
parents-
it. Now it's just
yeah,
it's
all
like
the
it's
time.
like okay, yeah, we get it. You're not biased. You're like, and then Trump said. I'm like, yeah. What else did he say? Like, there's other
Yeah,
shit going on.
Yeah, I'm not a big news guy in general.
But I
don't
mean,
really-
so like I mean, we all kind of. We're not. No one exists in a bubble or vacuum. You're not like you might be different than like some of the other doctors. Is that kind of what you want to do? You want to stand out from the other you like what you're doing. You like being a doctor, just like me. Like I like being a pilot, but I'm not one of those guys. Like there's those guys like that's what they.
Your
That's
entire
their life.
personality.
They're kind of
is
personality.
based
Yeah,
on
they.
being-
Yeah, they.
yeah.
That's what they.
Their personality is all
That's what a successful man looks like.
Right.
So is this like a way to like rebel from that? As you picked up this style that you're like, hey, like I'm this, but I'm really not. Like I'm also this. Like I'm not.
I'm sure that's a component of it, but it's not proactive. It's not like, what, I fucking hate being associated with just being a doctor. I want to do these other things. It's not like that. It's
But where do
just
you
like,
get your style from? Like where do you? Where do you? Yeah.
like my inspiration
What-
for my styles?
Yes.
A lot of it comes from
Transformers.
Big Beast Wars.
Transformer 3.
It's literally a transformer.
Oh yeah,
Like, now here comes
I
Shoe
can't wait
Guy.
to. I can't wait to show him what's about to go down
Oh,
there.
God.
But no, my
Is there
style.
a sex dungeon in here?
It's basically.
Are we about to 50 Shades of Grey?
Yeah, for sneakerheads, it's a sex dungeon.
So a lot of sneakers. But no, my fashion. So it evolved from, like I mentioned earlier, being bullied for not having cool clothes or on brand
that's
stuff
why it was.
or whatever. And that's the only seed that was planted in my head. Like fashion even fucking matters. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably have hundreds of thousands of more dollars in my pocket, right? But it evolved into. Hey, I'm not proud about it. I'm
quick flex.
just like I wish I would had that money and wasn't
I'd probably
into this
be,
stuff.
a millionaire.
But
It's all right.
but it evolved from like this peak in my interest of like, so I guess fashion is kind of important to some people. And then I became interested in it, and I just nerded out about it the same way I nerded out about comedy, medicine, whatever. Like when you deep dive into these things, you find out like historic brands. So like I started looking into Burberry and their historic trench coat that was designed for World War I, and it was all these different parts of the coat are specific to military components. And I was like, holy shit, this is kind of badass. So I went out and got a Burberry trench coat.
Nice.
Or for example, a certain sneaker or a certain shoe, like those wingtip brogues, the wingtip leather shoes with all the patterns on them with the perforations in the toe. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't, but
You can imagine.
You paint a good picture.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
Are you into fashion?
I am not, but
Yeah.
I
yeah, it's like a whole different world, right? So what I learned about these shoes is they're not just
obviously.
they're not just some pretty.
Yeah, if you are.
Yeah, it's not a pretty. It's not like just ooh. Some people are into fashion just for the prettiness, like ooh, I want the latest, greatest fad, and I want this beautiful looking thing, and that's it. For me, it was like holy shit. These shoes evolved from the Scottish going through the marshes, and they would perforate their shoes so that they could dry out quicker when they left the marshes. And then it evolved over time into this fantastic, beautiful, handcrafted, 191 step, handmade in a particular part of England thing.
Yeah.
So it's like all these little details about it that lead me to collect them.
Sure.
And
you
then
feel you feel a connection to something by
right,
fashion.
and then it connects to sports and athletics with the sneakers specifically. It's like, oh shit, man, I love Kobe Bryant, and these are sneakers line, and this is what he did when he, when he scored 81 points in this shoe. I need that shoe, or all these little different things. It's all still materialistic and super, just fantasy.
So,
world,
what's it
but
like being autistic?
I really truly feel like I'm on the spectrum to
I
some
think you
extent,
are.
and I think I
The
just
way you
missed.
think about things, I do
Yeah.
think. Because you get so into something,
Yeah.
and it gets like nauseating.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell are you talking
Because to
about?
him, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do stand-up now." He's like, "All right, I did one set. I'm done for the month." For me, it's like, dude, I want to get 4
No, not
sets
even
in
that, but like
fucking
you're talking
today.
about like, the shoes they use by the Marshalls, look at the laces, and I'm just like, how the hell, like, that's definitely a different way of thinking about
Yeah,
it.
it's not. No one even comes close to the way I process different things. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Clap back,
So,
rap
yeah,
for.
So,
but-
so I do. I fashion again, just like everything else. There's the two sides of it. If it's like if you're doing it to show off and like try to prove that you're better than other people or whatever, like that's not cool. But like if it's like an artistic expression of yourself, like there is something.
yeah, I collect
there's
for
something
the
beautiful
art of it.
about
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah, you
collect for
definitely
the-
don't come off as like a flex dude.
Yeah, I don't.
It-
Yeah,
'cause-
I don't buy
yeah.
things too. Because don't forget, I just moved down to the city in August.
Yeah.
So
No,
like
I'm not
prior
saying
to
that
that,
you've had the shoes upstate.
Yeah, that's
But
my
I mean,
point.
You've been spending
Prior
so
to
much time
that,
in this
I was-
fashion, but
yeah.
you always like know a lot about why you bought it.
Yeah.
And you're able to articulate it, and you got a passion for it enough to make videos. So that's not a flex move. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and they would just sit there collecting dust. I haven't worn that Burberry trench coat in God knows how long, but it's been there. You
Oh,
know
I
what
still
mean?
choose
I'm
them all
not.
the
I'm
time.
not asking you because I'm trying to get you to defend like your.
No, I don't.
you
I'm
know,
not on the defensive. I'm just explaining.
Sure,
to you,
sure,
this is where it comes from. You asked, so
I do like. There's something. There's something
Get the
that,
hell out.
there's something that I think is important with clothes that like you. It does say like you're trying, right? Like so, if you show up, like there's one thing I see when I see and I don't know why it bothers me, but it does bother me when a comic shows up to a show and they're dressed very poorly. Not like they're like poor and they can't afford nice clothes, but like just like
you didn't try.
like shorts. Like you cannot wear shorts
Yeah.
on a show, and it's like to me, it's something. It just says like, hey, I don't give a fuck about what I'm doing.
Right.
You know, even if I don't care about the clothes I wear, I still want to like portray that I care
That you
about.
take care of
this, and
yourself.
then,
Yeah.
and then I want and then I take.
No, there's
this
definitely
serious.
something to be said about grooming, like, and it works fantastic with women too. It's like women want to see a guy that can take care of themselves. They don't want to know that you have a Burberry trench coat, but a well fitted shirt, well fitted pants,
Sure.
not sloppy shoes. Like
I
they
had
don't
a
care
guy,
about the brand.
but I had a guy come up to me the other day. I had some interviews in Midtown. Then went down to Bar None for their open mic.
Yep.
Which is a great open mic.
Oh, yeah?
It's like one of my favorite ones. Well, it's like there's not a stage, so you're surrounded by people.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Cool.
And there's it's not a lot of micers, it's just people there.
Oh, nice.
You know Bar None?
Yeah, but I've never been to there for a comic.
It's relatively new, apparently.
They just started it, yeah. It's like the second Tuesday of every...
No, it's every Tuesday. Is it every Tuesday?
Is it every Tuesday? Anyway,
I think so.
But I just came down from an interview and I was like in a really, really nice suit, like $1,000 suit, really nice tie, nice shirt. And I was just like sitting there waiting for my turn, like laughing at their comments, like having to come. I was by myself, and some guy came up to me. He's like, "Hey, just get off work. You're not a comic, right?" And I was like, "No, I am." And he was like, "Why are you dressed like that?" And I was like, "Dude, because I just came from interviews." And he was like, "Oh, it was a little douchey." And I was like, "Dude, what the fuck? Who gives a shit?" But like, obviously, it's like, yeah, I was doing something else, like, because nobody wears a suit and tie to a.
But you can't impress everybody. Everyone's gonna think.
No,
something.
I'm not saying impress, but I'm saying like because I do think the it's funny to see like the '90s mics. Those guys used to wear suits.
Not the open mics, I doubt it. But.
Not the open mic, but it's bar fucking.
Yeah.
But I mean, too, like, and if it were casuals.
For shows, yeah.
Yeah, for shows and stuff. People used to, there used to be a different sense of the style.
The thing is, though, like, you know.
I killed that mic, too.
Oh.
I got like 3 laughs.
That's a kill.
That's a kill.
I mean, 4 sets in, it's doing pretty good.
4 sets in, I just leave.
It's because right now, like, it's really comedy. People who have something like an experience to share that is like some kind of struggle to share on stage. That is a really interesting thing. That comedy is a really great tool to
an outlet.
Platform outlet to present something like that, right? So people are able, like a lot of comedians are, kind of using like the struggle that they've had in their life to, and it's making great comedy. It really is. Now, I found myself doing this when I started. I'm like, oh, so I need to find the struggle in my life, and everyone does have some struggle. But at the other end of the coin is like you need to also just being genuine is way more important. So like you can't try to do anything. Like if you're a suit guy, be a suit guy. Yep. Be a guy on stage who has $1 million in his bank account. Be that guy. Don't lie about it. You can make fun of the douchiness of it, but at the same time, it's like you like having it, so don't pretend like you don't. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what it. Yeah.
I was talking to this one comic after an open mic, and we were just talking about like some jokes that he was working on, and it was funny. I don't know why. I was like, oh wait, but he had a really funny joke, and I don't want to say it because he's gonna do it. But he had a funny joke and it involved his girlfriend.
Which comic was it?
I don't remember his name.
Okay.
He's been. I don't want to say his name because it'll. I just don't want to say it.
He's probably going to butcher the name anyway. So,
yeah. Jaquim, what's up? Alzir, but anyway, he had this. It was like a weird thing, but yeah, the same way where I kind of felt like what you were just talking about, where he had this really, really funny joke. It did make me laugh, but it's about his girlfriend and his penis. That's all. That's all I'm going to say. Uh-huh. But at the end, I was like, oh, I thought you just moved here. You already have a girlfriend? He's like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I was like, you're lying. Like, that didn't happen then.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. I know, and I shouldn't because it's still funny. And it doesn't matter because, like, when you're up there. But like, it just, instantly in my head, I was like, why are you saying something that isn't true? But I don't know why I thought that. Like,
you don't have to, in comedy,
it feels better.
You don't have to be factually honest.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it,
You want to be honest to yourself and to, like, your feelings, right? So if you need to make up a girlfriend for a story, that's fine, but you can't make up the feeling you've had with women or exes or whatever. So that's totally fine.
But no, it's fine. I'm not saying. I had the same kind of like what you're just talking about, like be a suit guy. Like people like it more when you're real. Yeah, for some reason when I was like, oh, you already have a girlfriend, you just moved here. He's like, oh no, I don't have a girlfriend. It's like a made up story. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh.
But he didn't make up how he conveyed that feeling to you, and that's why you laughed.
100%. Yeah, no, it was funny. Yeah, but what I'm saying is it is. I can't put it really into words, but it is funny if if you know somebody's fabricating a story,
right?
At any point.
But at the end of the day, it's based on a true story.
It's funny.
It's meant to convey.
Because it's funny too. Because I like his joke. I even was like, oh, that's happened to me.
Right.
Because
that's the whole thing. It's trying to relate to people.
I'm married.
And I've been in New York. But no, the whole point is to relate to human beings. It's like that's the whole.
No, 100%. But like, I just think it's a.
That's why we're going to Red. That's why we're going to Red Lobster to do open mics later.
Anybody else here have kids? I'm dying up here.
Yeah, I totally agree.
With what?
Being real. No, Red Lobster's got a great deal on Monday nights.
What'd you say?
Like I remember that the first time the open mic you were at Jimmy's, where it was a packed room. I remember you in the front row, and this was still like my third or fourth open mic in the city ever.
Yeah.
Up until then, I've been only doing Iowa, and that was only like 2 or 3 times. And just on a whim, I just started to get real, and I just go, man, it's so tough hearing all you fucking comics. Everyone's struggling with money and unemployment and shit. And, you know, everyone says you got to be likable and relatable as a comic, but I can't do that because I'm rich. And, like, that was all I said. Like, I wasn't even trying to, like, set up a punchline, but, like, the entire room just died laughing.
It is hilarious.
No, it's how he usually closes it off. It is a good joke.
And I remember you just, like,
you know,
slapping the table, like, holy shit. And I was like, oh, I think I got something here. So I
Do
started
you
to run with that.
Do you have a buddy that you do comedy with, or you just do most of it solo?
I mean, so again, I'm kind of new to the city since I'm back, but I don't have like someone I consistently mic. No,
because let me tell you, it sucks. No, it's fine. But
He hates doing it alone.
Well, no, I have to hear his set all the time. Where he's like, ugh. And people are like, and I'm like, it's not.
He hates when people compliment me. It's his least favorite thing.
yeah,
That's why we're
He
good.
hates it. He hates
Yeah,
it.
keep it grounded.
I mean, the other thing is like, I mean, doing jokes about being rich or being a doctor, especially like I do airplane jokes because like it is a unique perspective that you have. You know, some people have something to talk about in their life, a struggle or something like that. But and like a lot of comics here, you'll hear it like it becomes homogenous. Everyone begins talking about the same shit because they've been working on comedy so long, they don't do anything else, and you have because you're trying so hard that it's like all you do in life is mics. So you have a lot of jokes about comedy, you have jokes about mics, you have jokes about like
And they kill the open micers, but
yeah,
yeah, but everybody else is like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
They're like, so this is my
all
ninth mic.
all the
Like,
topics
right
that
here.
people in New York talk about, you know, like racism and gentrification and like the NYPD and the MTA and the you know a rat eating a slice of pizza. Like you'll hear all those jokes over and over again by everyone.
That's why I don't go to a lot of mics. I mean, he busts my balls about it because I'm unemployed right now. But that's why, like, I'm like, I'll feel like I'll just burn out. I'll get sick of listening to comedy.
I think that's part of it, though, because most of the attrition.
I don't think it's part of it.
No, listen. If you want to be a comic, you have to go
don't wanna
through
mic.
the. But that's
I
my
don't
point.
think
If you don't really want to do it, then yeah, you're gonna be like, open mic suck, I'm out. But the attrition mostly happens in this stage. I feel like with open mics, where it's like, if you're willing to go through this horse shit and come out the other side, you may have a shot.
The best part's the networking stuff.
Yeah.
What's the biggest plane you ever flew? And what's the fastest you've ever gone to?
Not that. So the plane I fly in the Air Force is called the C-130, and it's a propeller plane. It's like if you ever seen like Navy SEALs jump out of.
Yeah.
That's the plane.
How far does that go? Like 12,000 feet?
It's we can go up to. I think like 29,000 is like but we don't. You know, we actually fly super low. We fly really low.
Yeah.
But just because we do like
People
airdrop.
are jumping out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or airdrops.
But then in training I flew a beach. It's called a T1, but it's a Beechcraft 400. It's just a little like corporate jet, and that went to like 400 something knots. But like there was a plane the other day, like a commercial airline was like 800 something. Like they got a record for like.
Oh really?
Yeah, just because the wind was so strong. Like for that type of plane, it was the fastest ground speed it's ever seen.
Well, how fast can planes go? Is it 800? That's gotta be near the top, right?
So it's actually so there's a difference between ground speed and air speed, which is because if you're in a car and you have 30 miles an hour
The wind resistance
for wind.
and stuff?
If you have 30 miles an hour wind behind you, you stick your hand out the car, you feel the wind behind you, right? But if you're driving 60 miles per hour forward, you feel now 30 miles an hour wind hitting you this way. Okay, so now if that's a tailwind, you're going through your ground speed is faster, but your air speed is
A little slower. Yeah.
Anyway, most planes are limited by the sound barrier, breaking like so Mach 1.
Oh, because you're going through the air because the air is a resistance a little. Is that why?
Yeah, it's
so you're shooting through the air. So the ground speed you're going this fast, but you're slowed by the air.
You're slowed by the air. And
Yeah,
then if
so
it's the
it's
opposite, if you have opposite tailwind, which is what makes you go really fast, like that's why they broke it. They had like 159. So they have you pushing it, but that air is pushing backwards over the wing.
Yeah.
So it's able to go faster over the ground.
So how do you go from Mach 1 to Mach 2, Mach 3?
So the biggest thing that keeps, and actually I'm not
not a physicist.
I'm not an expert on this. I
just fly.
obviously I'm not an expert.
I just wait for the
There's
thing
gonna be
to
a
turn
real.
red.
There's gonna be a pilot who does this that is gonna say I'm a fucking idiot.
Well,
But
pilots are not watching.
but
this.
it has something to do. A lot of it has something to do with the structural integrity of the plane. It's not that we can't make engines push us faster, but once you get past. So you're building up friction as you fly faster and faster,
Yeah.
right? So at some point it becomes a structural problem with the plane. And
Keeping it together.
yeah, and so when you break the sound barrier, they get something called Mach tuck, which like pushes the plane down, and a lot of planes would break. Something really good about planes that I help you let people like if they're scared of flying. One, engines now are so great. Those like if you're flying on a plane, a commercial airliner, and it has two engines, that plane can easily fly on one engine all day, no problem. The other thing is too, like the wings, they'll feel like a little bouncing around, and they'll get like scared from that. Like they've taken those wings and like they'll bend them upwards,
That would be great to see.
and
And
they and
just about like, wait, what the?
That'd be
Yeah.
a great YouTube video.
But I think they do have a
Pilot pranks passengers.
They have these like carbon fiber wings now where they like took them, and it's like this was in a hangar that they like, and they just took the wings and brought them up, and like it wasn't until they got to like they almost touched before the wings
They
actually
cracked.
broke. So it's like those things can. So if you see the wings like bouncing a little bit, like it's not a. It's
But
not
those wings are only available on Southwest, right?
Yeah.
I used to have a huge fear of flying until like 6 months ago.
Yeah, this dude was a
I
big
just
what?
Six, what happened 6 months ago?
I just did it enough where I was kind of like more chill with it.
Now, you read
I
a
always-
book or something? Or?
I did read a book that helped me out with it.
Yeah,
But it really what helped me out was like mentally. I was like, well, the pilot probably doesn't want to die, so he's got to control it. Like I don't even like being in the backseat of a car. It makes me nervous.
It's
Like you're just back there and you're like, okay, what the hell's going on? And like when you start going through turbulence or something randomly, I'm like, why the hell don't you avoid this? Like, what are you doing up there? So yeah, it's more of a control thing. But yeah, I used to be wicked scared. I used to have dreams all the time of dying in plane crashes. I think it'd be the worst way to go if you just start dropping out of the air, which doesn't happen. I know. Like
Yeah,
most
but
crashes are landing.
why would that be the worst?
Because you're gonna be with all these random people who also paid fucking coach, and everybody's gonna be screaming, and everybody's gonna be like coming like to terms with their own death, and I'll be standing there like, yeah, I'm trying to come to terms with mine too. Shut the hell up.
You think about this
That's why
way more than I
you're
ever.
supposed to come to terms now. Figure it out.
I know, yeah, no, that's why I would be sitting there being like a zen, I'd be like, just fucking kill me.
But
then some old lady's gonna be like, ah, and I'm like, I know, this sucks. Figure your shit out. I don't know, because it feels like a group death. It just feels like it'd be like the
The
worst
fact
thing
that
in the
you
world.
took your thought that far with it is like I've never even entertained any of that. Like, it's,
I think you'll like flying because again,
Yeah,
it's like
put you in control.
Yeah, put you in control. Yeah.
I've always,
Do you fly coach out to Iowa, or are you first class?
oh fuck yeah, I do, coach. Well, I mean, I don't pay for the flights. It's just whatever they
He
give.
goes,
But I mean,
he goes in the baggage.
but coach and first
there with the
class
dog.
in those flights is literally just
Yeah.
a matter of location
Yes,
on the
yes,
plane. It's, like,
yeah.
it's not a big deal.
a little
Yeah, you get a little bit more leg room, but we're going to be there in 5 hours.
Sure.
Like, who gives
That is why I always want to fly though, because I'm so scared of it, and I was like, I feel like if I could like see how it works, I would like it way more,
Yeah. It's
like understand it. Because yeah, I like who am I? Like I wanted to be up there, like look at the pilots, like what's that mean? Sure you're okay here? You'd be like, dude, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'd be like,
What,
yeah.
Soul Plane didn't do it for you?
You've never thought about dying in a plane?
No.
A group death?
I think about dying all the time in a plane, and
Really?
if I'm not flying, when
Oh,
I'm
if you're not
passenger,
flying, okay.
if I'm flying, I never think about it.
Yeah.
see.
But if I'm in the back, I always wonder if it, like if in the crash, like as the plane is like impacting
Would I
the
make
ground. No. I'm not. You're not gonna make it. But
Flight.
yeah, right. You're gonna flip it upside down.
You're going to jump out right at the last second.
Jump up.
He's like pulling all these like knobs and switches in there that don't exist. He's like the flux capacitor.
All right.
But
Slamming.
I always wonder if like as the plane is hitting and crashing, and this could be like for a car accident too, but is there like a second before you die where you like feel like the seat like come into your face
Yeah,
and
we're
like
not- yeah,
smush
oh, yeah.
your head
Oh,
together?
oh.
Is
You
there,
guys have thought about
do you
this
feel
way
yourself
more.
dying for
Right,
like half a
like
second?
would you? Yeah,
Or
would
is
you
it just
be,
so
like
quick to-
dismembered?
Yeah.
To the point where like you have to wait like a minute for like your vital organs to
Oh,
stop.
yeah.
Where like I don't have a face anymore, and
Or-
then like your brain's still working. And it's like now I have to register like not only am I like I'm not coming back from this, and I have a minute to lay here and die.
Actually, that is an interesting question because you hear about those disastrous plane
Thanks for all the
crashes.
16-year-olds.
Those disastrous plane crashes where like 1 or 2 survivors, but everyone else dies. I wonder what their experience is like.
It'd be amazing. I'd have the biggest dick in the
Amazing.
world if I lived. I'd be like,
Or it could give you
I know, you
insane
just feel-
PTSD forever.
No, I think you feel like the man because it's not your problem. PTSD usually stems from.
You could never get
Now
back
I'm
on a
talking-
plane.
Now I'm talking outside my.
You
my
are
goal.
definitely talking outside. You would definitely have like
You'd be like, why did I live?
yeah.
I'd still feel like
And
you'd
you would
have a
live with
little
that
bit of
forever.
That's
You'd be
trauma.
like, yeah. And then could you ever get back on a plane? You know?
Which
Because
is, I wouldn't pay. I'd be like, yo, Southwest, I'm literally flying
where's
everywhere
my
for
life
free
membership
now.
going,
I'm never paying for a plane again.
speaking of the
I mean, you go to
military,
London to Southwest. Then no, I'm not going to London.
speaking of the military too, I remember. So I used to do rotations at the VA hospital
He's like, I was a
locally.
Marine.
Yeah.
I'm 48.
Yeah. And I remember doing a rotation at this VA hospital. One of my first days at the VA hospital, I get on an elevator, and there's a guy already in the elevator, a veteran. And he's in the back of the elevator. I get on, no big deal. The next floor up.
Just driving the elevator.
No.
It was a big deal for him.
Next floor up, a bunch of people get into the elevator.
Yeah.
And the dude out of nowhere, he was quiet the whole time. Out of nowhere, he just says, no. And he just like shoves everyone out the way and just beelines it out. And then the door closes. I was like, what the fuck just happened? And someone was like, he probably has some PTSD from, whatever, like
Sure.
Some people are scared of elevators. I know a lot of people that are.
That's
that aren't
fine,
gonna
but-
steer this environment. No, but I mean that's probably why he was like, I'm getting off.
No, I
It's
think
not
it was more the
necessarily
military exposure he had to like some closed group of veterans who
Oh, yeah.
then some bomb went off and then some PTSD. So like the same thing could happen with a plane, It's like you may not be coming
It's not
back.
Yeah, you see the movie Dunkirk? Where
Yeah.
Where they're like on the
Yes.
they're on the boat, like
Oh,
the
yeah, and
boat's
then the
sinking.
boat that started-
That's
the
like
water started to come
that's a
up.
horrifying thing.
Yeah, I love that movie.
It's a great movie.
I thought it was really good.
I haven't seen it, but I'm not a big war movie. No offense, but
It's not like a traditional war movie.
Me and the Council
Yeah.
of War.
It's like I would have dropped a 7.228 on him.
What's funny is I do enjoy war movies,
How
but
about-
like
how
I just
about-
can't do it. Like,
Well,
I
how
can't
about
watch
when
it.
the plane stops for fucking Tom Hardy?
Yeah.
And he just sits there, he's like, shit. And it just starts to go down. That was such a good scene.
That was
Because there's
badass
no
scene.
noise, there's no music.
Yeah.
He just kind of like the plane just stops and he's
Yeah.
going to the ocean. He's like, here we go.
I'm like when I like people. If people told me that the movie was boring, I just hated them.
It's not a boring
you are,
movie at
wait,
all.
go watch Transformers. You
Yeah.
piece of shit.
I mean, it's slow, but it's not boring. Like at each turn,
Well-
you're kind of like, what's going to happen to all these people?
But
And a lot of people don't know about the Battle
war
of
movie.
Dunkirk.
War movie people go to see that movie because they like oh, I want to see like action and like Rambo or some
Yeah.
bullshit. Like there's still those kind of people who like that's what an action movie should be, is like nonstop,
Right.
just mowing down dudes all day. But
No, it's a historically accurate war movie because that's what Dunkirk was like. It was literally, I mean, Hitler literally could have won World War II if he killed all the soldiers of Dunkirk.
yeah,
You know why he didn't? He was talking to Churchill at the time. They were trying to make peace negotiations.
Wow.
Because he was like, just give me mainland Europe. Like they were still talking.
and
That's why they didn't kill all of them.
Yeah,
Because they stopped the tanks. The tanks were coming up into Dunkirk.
yeah.
They stopped them. They bombed them a little bit to still be like, hey, like we're still a shit.
Yeah.
And they wanted to bomb some of the transporter ships so then they could like have the upper leg in the negotiations. But that's why Dunkirk, like the mainland English, had all those civilians come over.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but that's why they stopped the tanks from going in because they would have slaughtered all of them. They would have killed the entire army.
Idiot.
Crazy.
It is no, but that's history. It's not taught because they're like, oh, Hitler's pure evil, and it's like no, like there was a lot of
No,
politics.
you're just a
at play.
dumbass.
No, I'm not saying
He's not that bad of a guy.
I'm just saying there was a lot of politics at play because he was negotiating with the English. Like there was a lot of
Where was
there a lot going
Dunkirk?
on.
England?
France.
France. Okay.
Is it?
Well, it's the English soldiers, but they were in France.
In
They were
France.
What was it?
France. Wait,
I thought it was
Belgium.
It might be. I think it's either Belgium
Jamie.
or
Pull that up.
or the Netherlands. It might be the
It might be. Yeah,
might
it
be
was
the Netherlands.
northern coast. Yeah.
Dunkirk. Yeah. Well, why don't you guys let us know in the comment section? We'll.
Yeah, they're like, does Jack support Hitler? It's like, no, I'm just saying there was a war going on.
But anyway, yeah, it's,
Yeah, edit that out until I'm employed.
dude, it's so funny.
Put it
so,
back in.
so what we're gonna do after this is I do this little segment, usually before the podcast as a warm up, but we'll do it as a cool down. But I have guests go through the shoe room, and I'll have them pick different things. And what I'll do is like a top 6 favorite of my sneakers, and what do you think are the ugliest 6 in this collection? So my last video, I had him do it. And at the very end, I'm like, "Are anything else in here you want to shit on?" And he goes, "Democrats." And we laughed about it because, like, okay, yeah, troll. But then some dude like flipped out today in my comments, like, "You really gonna let him say that kind of stuff?" Like, what's going on?
Who are these people watching your videos?
It's,
what I wanna know.
it's a wide demographic. I have anywhere from children all the way to like people in their 40s and 50s, medical students, college students,
He's got a
pre-med
lot.
students.
Just your network from
Sneakerheads.
Life Network.
And it's not my life network. I started literally from zero. And I just grew an audience mostly. So I started with Transformers videos, like with my favorite action figure pieces, just as a warm up to like get used to being on camera, just get used
So
to.
do
like,
you know most of these people in real life?
No, fuck no. I don't. I didn't know a single.
He's got like
most of
60,000
the
people.
prime example. I probably know him the longest, and he hates my content. He
Yeah, I can't
refuses
watch
to
it.
watch it. He can't watch
really
it.
hate it.
None of my friends are really into
you like
my
your content?
I love my content.
Okay.
But it was a struggle, man. The first year I was doing it, no one's really watching. My friends don't give a fuck about it. I'm just like, what am I doing here, man?
We had our own little podcast. That we
I would
talked
have him
before.
on for a few
But yeah,
different
we've done
episodes and
podcasts,
stuff, but
yeah.
like it was just such a struggle because like you would see these other YouTubers and social media folks like super into it, or like you'll meet comedians who are like meeting up, they're writing sketches together. Like we did a sketch together.
Done multiple.
Yeah, but like it always feels like half the fun has to come from like behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Like I literally had a friend of mine who, after like about a year and a half of doing this, he was finally starting to get excited about doing a skit or two with me. He said,
Yeah.
"Oh, dude, I've got this great idea," and I was like, just happy to have someone enthusiastic about something to do together.
Yeah.
The minute he starts talking about his idea, I'm already in like production mode. Like, okay, we're gonna need 2 cameras. Where do you want to shoot this one? And like 3 sentences into that, he just goes, "Whoa. This isn't funny anymore, man. Never mind." I was like, great, dude. Like,
Well,
fuck, man.
that's a lot of like I'm trying to do more sketch stuff and stuff, and like whenever you talk to me, like that's the hardest thing. That's why stand up is so great because I don't need anyone else to. You just go up on stage, but it's
Right.
like you just have to do it. You have shitty ideas. All your jokes are shitty right now. When you're new at something, so just do it. Just keep doing it. And so
Dude, those early videos, if you go back to the early part of the channel, they are hard to watch.
They're
They're
not that bad.
They're bad.
I thought your earlier stuff was
I thought you
bad.
didn't watch it at all ever.
I liked the earlier stuff, and now he's a character.
Well, because he was in some of the early
You're
videos.
just the guy who says that.
Contrarian.
Yeah, I like
He's
that.
quite the contrarian.
I'm here
But,
to keep him up.
Yeah.
Now he's sold out.
Yeah, like, Jesus Christ. Nikes,
Yeah, right.
really?
But yeah, no, it's been
Cool guy.
it's been refreshing now, like with the audience growing like exponentially. And, like,
What's your goal?
so I don't have a goal. But I would say
Doctor.
my big picture goal is like I would love the opportunity to be able to have access to things that I would otherwise have no access to. So like let's say there's someone doing something really cool in the world and I have no access to that person other than being known in the world. Like it'd be cool to connect with other people
Sure.
who do things I respect, you know.
Good, yeah.
Another thing is like people find me through this platform and either offer me pieces of motivation or tips about certain things in life or things I'm doing where I'm like, oh shit, I never would have thought to do that. And it's only because they found me organically. They're like, oh shit, he's into something I'm into. I'm going to help him out with this.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
your comments are surprisingly supportive. Usually.
Yeah.
People
And-
are like, great job, dog.
Yeah.
Fuck Zach. I'm like, all right, cool.
Or like this very thing. It's like it's nice that we get you on here. We get to connect, learn
Yeah.
more about you. I get to promote you a little bit. He
Yeah.
finds out you're a pilot. You guys connect. It's like I just want to connect because going back to what we were talking about earlier with the money thing is like it would be nice to be a billionaire so that I could have access to doing anything I want to do. But realizing that's probably not going to happen, the second best thing is probably just being able to meet as many people as possible who share the same kind of goals, aspirations, and like passions I have so that I can connect with them on those kind of things.
God, you're too wholesome. It pisses me off. Like, think more about dying in a plane.
You know? Like, how cool would it be? Like, you're a big Modest Mouse
Okay, here we
fan.
go.
How cool would it be? Modest Mouse finds out about something I'm doing 3 years from now in a video.
I
And
won't
they're like,
listen to them
"Oh."
anymore.
Yeah, oh, exactly.
And that thing.
and they're like, oh, hey, you should come to the show and meet us. I'm like, hey, do you want to go meet Modest Mouse? You know, get to
I'd be
connect
like,
with
you
the
know
band.
what, I'm
you know
busy.
what I mean? See? Just shit like that, you know?
Okay.
Okay.
Or like, I love Polar Seltzer. I find out
Okay, now we're getting really off track.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like-
CEO Polar. You like Polar?
Maybe his granddaughter watches my videos like, oh, you want to meet my granddad? I'm like, yeah, sure. How does Polar work? They invite me to the factory and I get to get behind the
Polar
scenes. and shit.
factory.
Yeah,
just
the
just a bunch of like bears chained up to the seltzer machine.
Just running. That's where the polar bears went.
But hey, I wouldn't have known that if I didn't do this.
Yeah,
right?
you heard
So-
that here first. Goblin's doing this to meet the polar.
Oh man. Or hey, I mentioned it twice already, but like the trench coat from Burberry. Burberry someday finds a track and he's like, hey, you want to come out to England and like see how we make these trench coats? That'd be cool. I'd be about that.
So you and Modest Mouse are gonna wear Burberry We're wearing trench coats to the polar back
Very
here.
cold.
Hey, to be fair, I don't give a shit about Mind Smells. I don't hate them. I've
Whoa,
heard a
okay,
couple
well,
good.
there's that
I've heard a couple songs from them. Not my favorite band in the world, but they are yours. So how cool would it be to like connect you two? You know, that'd be cool.
I'd
You know,
be annoyed because it was from you.
that's the yeah. See, it's like you can't win with this guy. That's my exact reaction.
Hey,
You know.
can
Yeah.
you call this podcast live from Penthouse?
Let's give everyone the address. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Don't worry, I'll edit that out. So.
Oh yeah, this is the only penthouse in New York City.
Dude, they can
geo-
navigate where the fuck I
Did you see that
live.
video with
Yeah, you're
Shia LaBeouf did that thing?
That's exactly what I was going to mention
Yeah,
next.
They will not.
4J.
They could find this place for sure.
Yeah.
But there's a door
What
guy.
was the flag? What was the flag he put up? They will not.
Oh, they will not trump something else.
Yeah, they will not something else.
Yeah. That was impressive.
That is impressive.
So impressive.
They literally got like the plane calibrated because it was like a blue sky. There was a plane flying,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they literally got it from like the plane.
Just like the frequency of plane
Yeah.
and like the direction. They like.
Yeah.
Like, here it is.
You remember they would have people drive by in their cars around that vicinity, like, "Hey, honk your horn so we can hear it on the live stream." And then they like triangulate it. Like, dude, that's some crazy
Dude, you
shit.
can't control the internet, man.
Yeah.
They tried to.
That
What if
should've-
we like put that kind of effort towards helping people?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Like, cancer's Democrat.
We have the technology.
Destroy cancer.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
This is fun.
Yeah, dude. I think we should end on a high note. That was great. Unless anything else you wanted to talk about?
No.
No. All right. Why don't you plug your stuff? Where we can find you?
Facebook at Rob Rigo. That is it. I don't do Twitter or Instagram. I probably should, but I just
I think you should, man.
Those things don't make me happy yet. So maybe they'll make me happy one day. I am headlining the House of Bacon up in Portland, Maine. If you happen to live in Portland, Maine.
Oh, nice.
I'm also doing headlining the Sea Dog Brewery in Conway, New Hampshire. That's the 27th, and then the Conway is 28th. So Portland, Maine, 27, Conway, New Hampshire, 28th. And I do every second Saturday of the month. Comedy at the Wash. It's a free show in New London, Connecticut. That's a really good show. And do I have anything else booked?
How often are you doing these shows? Every month?
Every month we do them. Yeah, they're really fun. And if you guys want to come up and do it, please do.
Do they have a website listed on all these dates?
We have a Facebook page, Comedy at the Wash. Yeah, Facebook.com/Comedy at the Wash one, and that's a really fun show. We get a consistent crowd that they come out every month. They love it. I think that's it. Yeah.
How do you go to these shows? You just drive to all of them, or you were flying to these places?
I tried to.
Yeah, parachutes in.
I could. The thing is, like,
Rock
Jumps out
music playing.
Jumps out the plane. Lands on
dude,
the stage.
I would totally, because like sometimes I'll go to New Jersey because most of where my family is, and I'll take like a little airplane from Connecticut,
Okay.
and that just like saves me.
Skip the city.
But that is not with me flying it, and I fly I get a cheap rental plane. That's like $80. That's what it costs me. So it's not like it's super cheap, but
You're upcharging $5,000 for these billionaires?
Well,
How dare you?
Yeah, he's like, I'm not a billionaire.
well,
I'm not a bad guy morally.
that's why.
I'm just a comic.
It's different when I do it.
I'm a comedian.
It's like a drug. It's like you start off and you're like, I'm a millionaire. I'll get first class. I'll start flying first class, and then you fly first class for a while. You're just like, I'm so sick of these people. I got the money. I'm gonna start flying. I'll get charter flights, whatever. Then you're like super rich.
Fuck
and you're like,
charter flights, yeah.
I need that fucking sweet corporate get. I need a corporate plane. I need it.
Hey man,
Like white only subways.
I can never even fly first class again. That's how much I need.
yeah. So find them there. I'll link it all in the description. Anything you want to plug, asshole?
He's gonna be pretentious at bar 8.
I will be at Red Lobster in Harlem.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
And
that.
I can't wait for that set.
I legit will go to that.
Apparently it's at 5 or 6 tonight.
Oh, I thought we were doing
it's
Pete's
on
Candy
Mondays.
Store. All right.
Yeah, we'll go after. I think it's at 7 actually. So perfect. Yeah, let's
You
do
know how
it.
the
Are you around? You want to do?
Yeah,
You want to do some mics? Yeah. Let's do
All
it.
right. Yeah. All right. Cool.
All right. See you later.